Hey there, and welcome back to Tim Talks Cooking. Today we are talking vegan keto chicken parmesan, my friend. You heard me right. That's vegan keto chicken parmesan. Actually, it's faux chicken. I'm going to make something that has the texture of chicken with a product called SEITAN. And it's a vegan product that is made from wheat gluten. In fact, that's all it is. It's the gluten from the wheat, and everything else has been discarded. It's a very interesting product to work with. Now, I like to go meatless sometimes. I'm not a vegan, but I'm really fascinated by vegan cooking. I think you're going to find this is a delicious recipe, whether you are a vegan or not. So I hope you'll try it. Anyway, let's get started. Here are the ingredients you'll need to make this delicious dish, starting with the seitan, which is the faux chicken we're going to make. Starts off with a cup of vital wheat gluten, which is also called seitan. You also want 2 tablespoons of fortified nutritional yeast. Here I've got 2 teaspoons each of onion powder and garlic powder. You're going to need some vegetable stock, about 3/4 of a cup for this recipe, as well as a tablespoon of soy sauce. You could use tamari as well if you like, although this is not going to be gluten-free. The basis of it is gluten. And a teaspoon each of freshly ground black pepper and kosher salt. The seitan is really easy to make. We're just going to dump all the ingredients into a bowl. That's the garlic and onion powder, the seitan. Here's the nutritional yeast. I really love that product, nutritional yeast. Got our salt and pepper, soy sauce, and our vegetable stock. You just want to mix them together. It's going to come together. I mean, this is gluten, so it's going to come together like a bread dough. And when we get it combined here, as I'll show you, when you get all that together, I'm going to abandon the fork, just like I would do if I were making bread dough. Use my hands, because we're going to need this. Oh yeah, it's already spongy. It's really an interesting product to work with, I think. I'm going to get as much of that up with the bowl as I can. I hate to leave any of the product in the bowl. Then we want to knead the dough, just like we would any bread dough. And after a full minute of kneading, this is what we end up with. You can see it's fibrous, it's sort of stringy, and now we're just going to divide it into 4 more or less equal pieces. I'm going to use my, oh, that's really spongy. It really resists your knife, or here, this is my bench scraper. See if we can get that about even. There we go. And next, well, maybe a little more for that one. As you can see, you can just divide it up as you like. The idea here is to make pieces that resemble a chicken cutlet. And so here I'm going to just mold it with my hands and push it out into a shape. It's not going to be a very big one here. There's chicken cutlet number 1. I'm going to do the same thing with these other pieces. And here's what they look like when we're done. Now, whether these look like chicken or not to you is another story, I suppose. To me, I'm not sure that they do. I'm not really interested in disguising them as chicken. I think they're going to be delicious. Anyway, my oven is preheated to 350 degrees. I've got a greased baking sheet here. I've just sprayed it with some baking spray. And I'm going to put these on it, and they're going to go in this oven for 15 minutes altogether, and I'm going to turn them halfway through. Here's what you'll need to make the rest of this dish. First of all, when the cutlets come out of the oven, we're going to cool them off, and then we're going to bread them. But of course, we're not going to use bread because this is a keto recipe. So here's what I've come up with. We're going to dip them into a batter that starts with 3/4 of a cup of unsweetened almond milk, as well as 3/4 of a cup of blanched almond flour. And some spices. I've got 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning, a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of smoked paprika, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, and half a teaspoon of kosher salt. That's going to be the batter we dip them in. And then I'm going to, instead of breading, I'm going to use a cup of ground pecans, which I just put in my spice grinder. It had some pecans pieces, I put them in there. And this is vegan Parmesan cheese, and it's a soy product that Tastes very much like Parmesan cheese, but has no cheese or any animal product in it. Very interesting. And then to finish it off, of course, you're going to need an Italian sauce. This is my keto pizza sauce. I'll put a link to that up on the screen. A little more vegan Parmesan cheese to garnish, as well as some zoodles to keep it keto. And I'll put a link to that recipe right up here on the screen as well. To make the batter, we simply combine the ingredients we have. There's our almond milk, the almond flour, and our spice blend. Give it a stir. To combine, and we're pretty much ready to go with that. I'm using this instead of egg, of course, because in a vegan recipe we would never use egg, but also there is a product called Vegan Egg Substitute that I think is very interesting, but it's made with tapioca starch, and it has quite a few carbs, 4 carbs per teaspoon, and each egg would then be 8 more carbs added to the recipe. So this is the batter I'm going to use to get our breading, our no breading, to cling to the cutlets. To make that, quickly, we've got our ground pecans and grated cheese. I'm just going to combine it easily with my fingers like this. And this will be what we dip them in order to get our faux chicken cutlets. After 7 minutes, I pull them out of the oven to turn them over. This is what they look like. They get a little browned on one side. There we go. These are going to go back in the oven for 7 to 8 more minutes. Now my seitan cutlets are done. Look at that, nice and brown. I'm going to put them on a rack to cool for about 5 minutes or so. And then we're going to put a coating on these and fry them up. I'm heating up about 3/4 cup of oil, canola oil in this case, in a non-stick skillet. While I'm doing that, let's get these breaded. Very easy. All we're going to do is take our cutlet, we're going to dip it in the batter, and then onto the Parmesan pecan coating. Get as much of it on the cutlet as possible. And there you have it. My oil is hot and shimmering here, and so it's time to put our cutlets in there. Just going to gently lower them in, and you can see that's exactly what we want. We want them to bubble up just like that. We can do all 4 at once in this pan, but if you have a smaller pan, don't crowd them. You'll keep the crust from being crispy. And I'm going to leave those in there for at least 2 minutes before I move them so they're brown on that side, and then we'll flip them over. And here you can see they're browning just beautifully. This is after about 3 minutes. Some of the breading has fallen off. I kind of expected that. This breading and the batter are probably a little more delicate than an egg wash. But there we go. Just another couple of minutes and we'll be ready to serve. 3 minutes later, here's what we've got. Let's turn them. Look at how beautifully brown that is. I'm going to get these out of the skillet, turn the heat off, and drain them on paper towels just for a few minutes while we prepare the zoodles and warm up our sauce. To give you a better sense of what this is like, I'm going to cut this in half to show you a cross section. Here's what this looks like on the inside. It actually, oops, there's my crust falling off, that's all right. It's spongy. It really does have the texture of meat. It actually looks a little bit like meat. I don't think it's going to taste like meat, but there we go. Here on this plate you can see I've put a pile of zoodles, some of my keto pizza sauce, and I've also sprinkled it with some vegan Parmesan cheese crumbles here. I'm going to stick this in the microwave for about 1 minute. Next, I've topped our faux chicken cutlet here with some pizza sauce as well. I'm going to just serve that right on top of there. Well, I'm going to make a mess of it apparently, but we're going to just slide it right on in there so it doesn't flip over again. There we go. I'm going to garnish this with a few more vegetarian Parmesan crumbles here. And there's our dish. Well, all right, let's check it out. Looks really great. Smells fantastic. Such an interesting dish. Yummy. Really, let me say, very interesting. The texture is very much like chicken. Maybe just a little bit chewier, but really interesting. The flavors, now we used a lot of flavorings in that faux chicken cutlet. They're not overpowering. They're really nice. It's really a kind of harmonious blend. And I love that pecan faux Parmesan cheese breading. Really nice. It has a little crunch and it's very nutty and lovely in the background there. Again, of course, the pizza sauce and the Parmesan cheese on there, the vegan Parmesan cheese, really very good. This is very much like the high-carb version of the dish. I love the zoodles in it, I gotta tell you. I hope you'll try this dish. Thanks for joining us here today at Tim Talks Cooking. I also hope that you'll like, share, comment, and especially subscribe. Oh, please subscribe to my channel. Seriously, it helps my channel grow, and it also helps you locate my videos, especially if you click on that notifications bell, where you'll actually get notifications every time I upload new videos, which is a couple of times a week. So listen, we'll catch you next time at Tim Talks Cooking.